This is Dabu7, and there's quite a few people out there upset this morning, feeling that they got punked by Julian Assange and Wikileaks. For those that had tuned in to the broadcast that was supposed to be this bombshell announcement, it was no more than a 10-year anniversary event. Now, we also have statements being pitched around by Clinton stating, why don't we just drone him? He is a soft target. Showing that her regard for life, I mean, if you go back and watch the clip of Gaddafi, she states, we came, we saw, he died, and starts laughing. Anyone that opposes them, this is how they view them. Now, a lot of people waiting for this big bombshell, thinking it's going to bring down Hillary and all this other stuff. About 10 minutes into the speech, after an hour of waiting, listening to some other stuff, he threw cold water on the whole thing and said, we're never going to drop a big bombshell like this at 3 a.m. in the United States. But then he goes on to say that over the next 10 weeks, up to the election, every week they're going to be dropping information pertaining to the election and all kinds of other things. But this has put a big dent in the credibility of Wikileaks at this point. And some could say, oh, they were scared. They postponed it, but this was thoroughly planned out. The whole slide presentation, everything that they put forth within 2 hours was well planned. Even had a big board behind him that said 10 years that they drew up and everything. This was well planned. They knew they weren't dropping this big bombshell. So they let everybody hype it up out there. And Mr. Assange just left everybody hanging. I mean, you can go and look at the live results. You'll see people talking about the fail of this October surprise. Of course, everyone's going to start making their predictions of pushing it back and what date. That's a shot of him right there. It's what he looked like when he ended up coming out. A 10-year celebration of Wikileaks. And you can see here Clinton's comment, can't we just drone this guy? But as far as this big bombshell, it did not materialize. Now, what I find quite comical is there's some alternative groups out there, or individuals, that love to just create a story out of their ass and run with it and publicize it a day before anything. I think they also even got a video out there of Trump being assassinated, which has never happened. And they only do these things to get the clickbait and the views. Now, when getting this attention, you would think that someone would take advantage of all this and at least drop something out there for the people. Never happened. Instead, you're given this WikiLeaks 10 hashtag where they're stating the next 10 weeks they'll be dropping information. Now, I also know from experience and from doing live streams myself and trying to get out key and big time information, the form of censorship that you go through. I also know that it is only a flip of the switch to silence this man and to stop his communications from getting out. Yet that has never happened. It's never been attempted. It's never happened once. They've never been going live with a big broadcast and it get cut and shut down. No, it hasn't. Not that I can recall. I'm not going to say they haven't had any big glitches or things of that nature, but today was a perfect example of that. If they really wanted to silence Assange, they could in many different other ways. They do it to us all the time. Yet they let the mainstream babble to the whole country last night. Expect this big bombshell. I'll go in there, turn on 10 o'clock news, check out the weather. First thing out of their mouth, Julian Assange. Big bombshell tomorrow. Really? Really? For all those guys that were up, ready to run the live stream, they're pretty ticked off this morning. And that's where it sits. With Julian Assange leaving everyone hanging, basically punking the internet by turning this rumored Clinton reveal into a huge anniversary event. And I'm not so sure how many people are out there celebrating. There's probably plenty more pissed off. I will leave links in the description box, and I'll continue to update on this story. If anything changes, if any other things do leak out. But this is all by plan in my book. Same thing with Snowden. These guys are patsies used to push out information, to sway the opinion of the public, to fire up the public when needed. And if they really wanted them dead, they'd have killed him in the street just like they did Gaddafi. And not to mention, they would never give him any airtime through the mainstream media. They would cut off all avenues if it was that bombshell. Think about it, people. I will leave links, continue to update on this story, and if anything slips out, they publish anything here shortly, I'll make sure to keep you guys posted. Once again, looks like he punked everybody. And make sure to check out our recent sponsor here, the Essential Drugstore. Chose to specifically go through these guys to offer an avenue for everyone out there to be able to get antibiotics, medicine, insulin, heart medicine, anything that you need medicine-wise, you can get legitimately through these guys. But this has been Dabu7 signing off, y'all. Much love.